Video games are quite an important medium, but the unfortunate truth is that sometimes they are susceptible to disappearing. I wanted to talk about 2 games that I have personally played that have become lost media, as in these games are no longer distributed and there's no way of acquiring them officially. Developed by Crystal Press 3000 and published by Tivola in 2006 under the title Sarah, the Uterin des Eichhorns. Sarah is approached by a fairy named Eldoria, who shares with her that long ago unicorns were living peacefully under the forest fairy's watch. But at some point, humans started hunting unicorns for their valuable horns. Now, there's unrest in the forest and a portal has opened from which evil is trying to pass into the world. Sarah is chosen for extinguishing this evil with her unicorn by going to the 4 fairy temples in the forest. Each temple has a diamond shard. Collecting every shard, Sarah will be able to close the portal. Eldoria gives Sarah a magic wand and flies away. You move around with the WASD keys and run by holding the shift key. To interact with items, you press the spacebar. In the top left corner, you'll see Sarah's portrait, her health points, bells, for which I could not figure out what they're for. Under Sarah's portrait is your inventory, fruits, feed, or fertilizer, and magic items. Top left is your opal count, the in-game currency. Under that is the diamond completion. Bottom left, you'll see a bag with a meter, which indicates how many forest spirits you have. And on the bottom right is where you'll see objectives pop up. The game itself is mostly a farm simulator. Feed the animals and get money at the end of the day. But all of the animals are chickens, in the sense that the models for all the animals are the chicken model. Besides the chicken-shaped animals, there will be 2 types of magical trees. One being the fruit tree. Depending on which fertilizer you use, it will give you different fruits. The other magical tree drops opals. On the farm, there will also be a magical well, to which you can give forest spirits to, which you will get by catching by walking through tall grass and shaking some bushes. The well will give you opals and an opal tree sapling, which you can plant in certain spots you'll find at the farm or in the town. There's also a field next to the house, which you'll be able to use later. Going down the farm area to the left side of the screen, you'll access the town area. The most important things there are the farm shop and the wizard's shop. For now, the wizard sells items that you can use to level up your unicorn. There's a total of 4 NPCs walking around the town that you can interact with, 2 of which are Leonia and the town's burgomaster. Using your unicorn to access the rest of the forest, you'll encounter enemies which can attack you, and you'll lose opals and the unicorn will lose energy. There's no combat mechanics, but you can eat a magic star-shaped mushroom which will give you a gold sparkling effect, and if you touch the enemies, they will turn back into their regular form, a squirrel. They'll give you opals as a reward and items that can replenish your unicorn's energy. Regular squirrels also roam the forest. If you catch them, they will also give you opals. Most days you'll get an objective. They're mostly about talking to NPCs or retrieving items, but occasionally your objective will be to actually go to the temples by retrieving a magic seed. Planting it in the field next to your house and fertilizing it for 4 days will award you a fairy that will guide you to the temple. Arriving to the temple, there's once again a magic circle and a sign that will show you the combination of buttons you're supposed to press to unlock the door to the temple. Once again, there's 4 temples which are based on each season, the first being the Spring Temple. In the temple, you'll find rooms filled with enemies that you will have to turn back into squirrels. Rooms with spiky creatures which you'll have to guide to their destination by moving and turning pillars. Through the temple you find vases, some of which will be filled with opals and hearts. Completing the temple, you'll get the key to access the last room, and you'll open a chest with a diamond fragment. You'll continue playing as usual until one day you'll be asked to come to the summer forest by the burgomaster, for Leonia got lost. Once you find her, she will ask to ride Sarah's unicorn back to town. Sarah declines, but Leonia acts as if Sarah just insulted her. You'll get a new objective to complete the summer temple, but once you do, Leonia says that she has kidnapped Sarah's unicorn. Eldoria and the wizard tell Sarah that Leonia has been bewitched by the portal. You get the unicorn back by retrieving 3 plants from the farm. After, you will meet Petey's evil twin, who threatens to scare Sarah's animals. Sarah shoos the evil twin away, and she ultimately decides to find a plant in the autumn forest that calms down the animals. You feed the animals as usual, and the evil twin doesn't bother you anymore. You'll complete the autumn temple, and after that Leonia comes over to the farm and tries to clear things up. Sarah doesn't understand, so Eldoria reveals the fact that Sarah and Leonia are sisters, who were separated by the forces of evil. You'll complete the winter temple and close the portal successfully, but before that, a voice from the portal will tell Sarah that you'll come back, stronger than ever. The game has a sequel and a threequel. The publisher has no mention of any of the Sarah games on their website. The developer's website does have pages dedicated to the Sarah games, but lacks a lot of information. I have played the Russian localization of the game by Полет Навигатора. There is also a Netherlands localization by Transposia, a US localization by Viva Media, and an additional developer for a Nintendo DS port of the game by Dreamcatcher Interactive. But the problem is that many of these companies have either stopped publishing games or no longer exist. Currently there is no mention of Sarah Keep of the Unicorn on any of their websites. What I love about the game is its soundtrack. Composed by Jens Busch, maybe, I could not find any information that he did in fact compose any of the game's soundtrack. Jens did compose soundtracks for other games, but honestly I'm not even sure that this is the same person. Developed by Kid and Kid and published by Bisco, White Heart Baekgu 3, released in November of 2002. It is actually quite different from the previous two games, for the main protagonist is a completely different dog. Allegedly, it had to do with some copyright issues, with the original copyright holder Son Goku, later renamed Sonokong, at some point outsourcing the first game to Kid and Kid to adapt the anime. There was some sort of issue with the trademark, so Sonokong had to develop their own continuation of the game, and Kid and Kid developed theirs. The game begins with a cute 2D animated sequence, where we are shown the little story this game has, being that our dog protagonist walks into the zoo and all the animals are getting detention, except the monkey. The monkey becomes furious and bends the bars of its enclosure, and now is causing mayhem. We begin our journey at Monkey Hills, where we do not get a tutorial. You move right and left and look up and down by pressing the arrow keys. You jump by pressing the left control key, and you can bark by pressing the left alt key. In the upper left corner, you'll see your health points, 5 specifically. If those drain, you still have a couple of lives left. Upper right is how many star points you have. The level will be full of stars, which if you get to 100 will grant you an extra life. There are also extra large hearts and extra lives. You'll also find points. If you collect 10 of them, you'll unlock an extra level. More on that later. There will be enemies that attack you. You can defeat them by jumping on them. The most basic enemies are the monkeys, which can run around, jump, and throw bananas at you. There's also toucans and apes. You do have allies, like doves that will act as platforms and elephants that you can ride. In each stage there's also a purple monkey that can take up to 3 hits. It is faster than all the other monkeys, but it is possible to catch up to it, and it'll adapt to your completion of the game. You'll meet more enemies and allies throughout all the stages. The stages have a total of 4 levels, the last being the boss. In this stage you'll fight the gorilla that summons monkeys and throws barrels. In Visiting the Lion, the boss is a lion that can roar to make toucans fall from the sky and summon hyenas. Surprisingly, this boss is a lot less difficult than the previous one. The boss in the labyrinth is a snake. It'll shoot venom at you, slither around, and pop out throughout the level. The boss in Higher and Higher is a giant crow that can spit rocks, use feathers as projectiles, and fly across the level. Blue Lagoon, the underwater stage's boss, is a whale. It summons piranhas and sea urchins. At some point the whale will inhale you and you'll be able to enter the inside of it and do damage by barking at its heart. The Slippery Slopes boss is a woolly mammoth that can stomp to make icicles and snowballs fall. You win by jumping on the icicles that get stuck in the ground. Fire in the Hills is the last stage. At the boss level you'll be accompanied by a monkey from a previous level, and you'll be able to throw water at the ball of fire that can chase sizes, shoot projectiles, and spin around the level. To achieve full completion, you have to collect 10 coins from each level. Once you do that, you'll unlock a bonus level where you have to race with a monkey to get a gold coin. Upon full completion, you'll be accompanied by a monkey in all levels. The game also has a separate mode when you launch it. It being exactly like the base game, but instead you just complete the level by collecting all the coins. And the last additional content that comes with the game is a desktop pet of our protagonist dog. I have once again played the Russian localization of the game by Baekgu, which interestingly enough adapted it as Rex 2, but there's the same problem that the Sarah games have. Nowhere either on the developers, publishers, or localizers' websites are there any mention of any of these games. It's quite unfair that video games can be forgotten, even by their own creators. The archiving, preservation, and access to any and all media is very important, even with video games like this. This video has been in the back of my mind for quite some time, and when I actually sat down and started researching and planning for it, I was surprised to find the information that I did, considering I played these games as a kid and basically knew nothing about them. If you'd like to support me and my work, you can subscribe to my channel, follow me on my social media, and if you'd like to, you can get a membership on my Ko-fi. Members from these 2 tiers will get a shoutout in my next video. Thank you for watching my video until the end, goodbye and let's stay in touch.